Hey guys. Wow, Spirit's very clear today that we're talking about faith. And faith is like a very interesting topic in that people can perceive it in different ways. Now, when I went through college, when I was younger, I brought up somewhat religious, okay? And then when I went through college, I went through this atheist phase, right? And I remember before I got into that, when I was in my late teens, I had got this tattoo that said faith. And then I went through this atheist phase and I was like, I didn't like the tattoo. And it's interesting, this process I went through. And even when I was a little kid, I remember when I was a little girl, we used to play where we pretend to be whoever and we'd make up names, right? And I'd always use the name Faith. And I didn't ever really understand when I was younger why I liked that name. And then I had it tattooed in my late teens. And then I went through this phase where I was just angry at the universe, angry at religion, because I felt like there were so many hypocrites. You go through this phase where you're discovering and unfolding and figuring out how everything is in the world, right? Trying to figure out the program, going down rabbit holes, et cetera, et cetera. Being programmed by the program, like in university and everything else. And it was my worst times and my most challenging times were during that time where I was actually an atheist and I didn't have that faith. And I remember having that tattoo, and I was going to get underneath where it said faith, I was going to put within oneself underneath it because I was so angry at religion and stuff at the time. And it's funny because at the end of the day, that would have been just fine to put within oneself, now that I think about it in retrospect. And I never actually did. It was a dragonfly and it has faith, like the word faith kind of wrapped into it. And now in retrospect, I look back at it and I'm like, wow, I was really in this faith where I was like, screw you, God, because I don't deserve all this that I went through as a kid. I don't deserve all this shit that I went through. And it was like this rebellious phase of trying to prove to the world that God doesn't exist because he ain't showed up for me. You know what I mean? And then it was because I didn't recognize what this world is, why we came here, how religion is very programming, how people are programmed within it, how it's just so many epiphanies and stuff come online, right? So then I have this spiritual ascension journey, and as I'm peeling back the layers, I'm realizing wow, I was a really angry person. I really felt this world did not have my back. Nobody had my back. Even the people that were supposed to love me the most betrayed me, right? And didn't show up for me and act like I don't even freaking exist. So I always felt like I was in that energy when I was younger of I didn't exist to the world. And I was just trying to prove myself, right? We go through these cycles of proving that we're worthy, proving that we fucking exist, proving that we matter. And it's like this whole time we're trying to prove to this matrix that doesn't even give a shit about us. It's all inverted. It all is trying to keep you looping in toxic patterns and low vibrational frequencies. And we're unconscious of it the whole time, right? And so my faith had waned during that point, and woe was my personal experience a reflection of that, a reflection how I didn't feel like I could count on anyone in this world, and except for myself. And in a weird way, deep down, I always innately knew I could believe in myself. I could count on myself because I was in survival mode and I always had to make it happen. And I did because I had no choice, right? There was nobody around me that was going to help me. For example, when I went into college, there was nobody helping me file the paperwork for my student aid. There was nobody helping me with my student loans. There was none of that. And now in retrospect, I wouldn't recommend anyone go to college because colleges are inverted. It's a waste of money. You can learn anything you need to know now with the access of information. There's so many things. There's so many tangents I could go on in this video, but I'm going to try to stay on topic. But the moral of the story is my faith had to be just in this material. It was very masculine, very survival mode energy. It wasn't real faith. It wasn't real true connection. Deep down, we all have that the ability to access it, but we have to make that conscious choice to do so. And it took a lot of negative experiences to get me to that deep, dark place where I could get to this point where I did have faith and I did see life in a different light and I did have epiphanies and I did have breakdowns of my emotions, right? And this is the dark night of the soul. This is this process we all go through on our ascension journey where we're grappling with our own self-worth. And like, your self-worth and faith are very aligned because it's a belief system. Because once you realize the faith is within you, it is within the fact that you know when you're connected to you, you're connected to the all that is. And then you've never been alone. Never have you ever been alone. But like, it's hard to like really coming to the recognition of that when you've never been told what we actually are, these spirits using these avatars in order to expand. We have never been told anything about energy and how this world is supposed to operate. All we have been shown is an inversion, a toxic program, right? And normalize it and try to normalize it in the guise of like being nice, or like people try to pretend it's fake, it's phony. And it's not that there isn't like genuine people out there. There isn't like genuineness out there. There is. People do have good intentions. I feel like deep down we all want to be aligned with our most authentic self, our most childlike, playful version, all of that, most authentic version. Like we all deep down, whether we're conscious or unconscious of it, want to connect to that. Know that like that's what we came in here for. But like we're unaware in the beginning. We forget everything. That's the craziest part about coming in here and on these missions, is that the first part of the mission is just remembering who the hell you are. And that is difficult. It's difficult in this toxic world. I was just watching a video the other day and this woman was talking about this man remembering as soon as he came into the body when he was born, he immediately wanted to be out. He was like, no, I changed my mind. I don't want to do the mission. Like his spirit remembered that in a regression or whatever. And he came back in anyways. But the point of the matter is, it's like you realize really quickly, like, whoa, like that being in that high frequency space before you come in here in spirit is just love, joy, peace. Like it's all the higher frequency emotions and feelings. And then coming into this dense body in the name of assisting the entire collective, like that is a shock to the system. And I made about, was it yesterday or the day before? I don't remember, but there was a video about, regulating your nervous system in order to receive. And I think we're so unconscious of how dysregulated we are because we've been in it so long. It's hard to have that unshakable faith that everything's going to work out because it feels like it hasn't. It feels like the world's been working against you instead of for you. But once you start seeing that contrast come in, you see the universe is working for you. You see the contrast as a gift in order to recognize something else, to respond to life in a different way, in order to expand. Then things start playing out differently. And the more we do that, the more we come into this expanded consciousness and recognition, the more easily then we're able to expand and have faith in ourselves and build our own self-worth and build our own confidence and build that relationship with spirit where we have this unshakable faith. We have this connection where we are very discerning when things come up in life. We don't have to be so worried about it because all you got to do is tap in. You got that faith in spirit, right? You know that everything's always working out for you. You know that you came to this universe for a reason, and your guides and all that you're connected to is so excited to see that you remembered. You know how few people fucking remember? So few. Go outside and look around you and look at people and think, could I ask them if they know that we're here, spirits living in physical bodies and reincarnate in order to expand? How many people could you say in a public arena would understand that and acknowledge that? Very few. How blessed are you to remember right now? How blessed are you to know that no matter what you're going through, you can connect with spirit and come into this unshakable faith and connection that You are always taken care of. All the contrast is a gift in order to expand. You don't have to worry about losing people because you're always connected to them. You don't have to worry about losing people because in the next life, you're going to play different roles for each other again. You're going to see each other again manifested in the physical. There's nothing to worry about because your faith is so on point based off of your own experiences with spirit, your own expanded consciousness about what we came in here to do. What a beautiful place to be in. How grateful can we get for that? How grateful can we be for coming into this recognition of why we really are here? How blessed are you? And you know what? We come into that recognition and then it seems like things get dark really quick because spirit's immediately like, wow, they know now. We can send them the contrast so they can expand. We can send them the tough lessons, the hard people that act like they love them but don't actually show up and consider them. We can send them all those people that don't reciprocate. We can send all that negativity in right now. Why? Because that's where it gets confusing. Oh, I finally come into this recognition. Why are bad things coming in? Then you go into victim mode. It's the test. It's spirit saying, okay, like, are you really, what level is your faith really on? Right? What level is your faith really on? We're going to send you somebody you don't deserve. And you have to set the healthy boundaries saying, I know what I deserve, right? And I'm not going to interact with this person, right? You will be tested. And like, that's why I hate the spiritual bypassing in the New Age movement, because you can't just come in saying, well, I have my energy focused in a certain area and this, that, and the third. But really, we all have this lingering shadow, this lingering belief systems, these lingering self-doubts and self-worth issues. And if we don't acknowledge those and actually for real, transmute and heal it, it will continue to loop until we have naturally respond to that situation from why that person's just at where they're at. That's not in alignment with me though. I wish them the best. I'm going to move forward on a timeline that's more in alignment with people who are more in alignment and more reciprocal, right? And that's when your faith becomes unshakable. That's when you start seeing less contrast. But even if you don't see less contrast, you're not going to see as much contrast in terms of choosing the wrong people if you're setting healthy boundaries. But is your life going to be perfect? Is no bad things going to happen? Absolutely not. And I wouldn't want it to be that way, because every single time I encounter contrast on my journey, I know I have an expanded consciousness enough to recognize that it is an opportunity to expand and evolve, to expand and shine my light and show the world I can respond to life in this way, and show myself I can respond to life in this way, in a way that loves me, in a way that loves the all that is, in a way that loves this mission and this alignment and new timeline that we came to anchor and usher in. That's how you will know that you're really flowing on your journey. When you respond, when you're triggered and your response is just like, it's not like crash, burn, project. It's more of like, wow, I would love to project right now, but I'm going to actually detach myself, come from this higher space of recognition of who that person is, what that situation is, who I am. And now I'm going to come from this place where I'm responding to life from a higher version of me, instead of my ego, my pride, my selfishness, my own thoughts that people need to be something else for me. People are where they're at on their journey. People need to be who they are for themselves. And if they're not stepping into this higher vibrational version of themselves, that's their own free will. That's their decision. That's not for us to control or drag somebody along with us. By the way, you can't bring someone with you into a new timeline. They have to do the healing work to evolve and expand to that frequency that new timeline is on. So that's impossible anyways. So like I've said in a million other videos, like the enabling has to stop. Enabling people by staying in their life in a codependent way because you think you're helping them, you're not. Let the universe do that. You are not God. Stop trying to play God. Let those people go crash and burn and learn their own lessons just like you did. Why should you have to do the work, but not some? You don't. It's like the same people that you're in school and you have these maybe these cute boys or something that are playing sports, and they try to get all the girls to write their papers for them. Don't be that girl that writes the paper for them. Let them do the freaking work. And you know what? Like, we've all, like, a lot of us girls have, like, encountered shit like that in life, right? We think we're doing someone a favor. We want them to like us, or they want them to see our value. And we strip them from their opportunity to crash and burn and make a decision for themselves, right? They don't have to crash and burn. They could step up and do the damn work themselves. They're choosing not to. They want to take the easy way. They want to cut corners, right? They want to cut corners. There ain't no cutting corners on this healing journey, guys. There's no cutting corners, because you will be tested over and over and over again. And Spirit's going to keep seeing how you respond to life until you gradually get sick of your own shit and raise your frequency, saying, wow, I don't want to respond in that way anymore. You want to know why? Because I remember what happened last time, and I remember the time before that, and the time before that, and the time before that. And you start realizing that you can change and respond to life in a different way. Now, there's a lot of people out there that are so programmed and so attached to this identity of who they are in this reality that they aren't able to respond to life in a different way. They think everyone should accept them as they are. They don't care if they treat people like shit or move through life in a way that doesn't embody integrity. They don't care. And that's fine. Leave them with the hell where they're at. And you keep rising and shining. And they can watch you rise and shine and be happier and more playful and childlike and live life and manifest in this beautiful, aligned way. And that's for them. That's their own karma. That's not on you. Stop doing other people's papers and doing the work for other people and enabling them. That's not going to help anyone. They need to go and figure it out on their own. And if they don't, that's okay. You're still going to be over here as a beacon of light. Don't you want people, places, and things in your life that love you? Don't you want people, places, and things in your life that consider you and value you as a human being? Don't you want people, places, and things in life that are in alignment of the highest version of you, that are on a timeline, that is actually embodying the love and expansion of the collective, bringing in new systems that will expand the collective and love and support the collective? Why are we still enabling the programs? It's like sometimes I work for the public school system. Sometimes I feel like just working there is enabling the program. But I also love the kids, so I see the other side of it too. There's so many perspectives. There is no one answer, black and white thing in this world that where you can just be like, this is how it is, and this. No, that's not how the world works. It's so paradoxical. It's so spiritual. It's so like, it's like you really have to detach yourself and get connected so you can be in alignment of what is of the highest good. Because your ego isn't going to be able to conjure up some plan or idea or perspective that is higher than what is in alignment of the highest good. It's just going to be something that is stroking the ego of the program, stroking somebody in the program who is a fat ego. Like, come on, guys. Like, we can see this. We can recognize it at this point on our journey. The question is, how much do you love yourself? How much faith do you have in your connection with spirit? How unshakable is your faith? That you don't feel the need to drag codependencies into a new timeline. That's not even freaking possible. You're not going to drag shit into a new timeline. All you're going to do is stay in the old timeline with whoever didn't want to heal, with whoever programs didn't want to evolve. That's all it's going to be. And so get really real with yourself and really fall in love with yourself. That's what you have to do. Really fall so deeply in love with yourself that you won't accept anything or any version of you that isn't the most highest, most authentic, playful, loving, childlike, aligned version of you. That will just show you the way. It's not going to be hard. It's not going to be hustle. It's not going to be draining. It's going to be flow. It's going to be love. It's going to be joy. It's going to be connection. It's going to be service. All of those things will come into your experience, and you will embody all those things when your faith and your commitment and your intention, all that becomes unshakable. Your standards become unshakable. There is no ignoring red flags anymore. There's gracefully setting healthy boundaries. That's all it is, guys. And really coming into this space of knowing everything's always working out for you, because it is. But unless you believe it, and the spirit knows if you believe, this universe knows if you actually believe it. You can say it, you can write it, you can do all the things you want, but it's your emotions that are what's real. It's your emotions, your vibrational frequency that's your currency. That's the real. So really take a deep breath. Ask yourself where you're at. Ask yourself when things come into your life, what version of you is coming online, what intention you're coming forward with, what response you're giving this world. How do you want to show up in your life? Who do you want to be there? What programs do you want to be aligned with? healthy ones, co-creative ones, expansive ones. I'm just saying, what would Jesus do? Wear the bracelet. If you need that reminder, it's hard when you're in this situation, especially if there's emotionally negative contrast, to sit back and be like, okay, what's of the highest good? Is it the little devil on my shoulder making the decision? Or is it the angel on my shoulder making the decision? It's hard to come from that place when you're in it. So that's why when you get to that point where you're able to do that, pat yourself on the back. You are doing such a good job. To even be in that recognition is just next level. Then you have to get past the fears and move through with courage in order to respond to life in an aligned way. It's not always easy. You have that pressure from others to be something that you're not. 100%. And you always will. And until you get super solid in yourself and your faith is unshakable, you'll probably struggle with that. But that's okay, because you're going to get to that point. Like, seriously, if you're watching my videos, you're probably already to that point. And now it's just like, okay, the contrast is coming in. Get into that recognition. How are we going to respond to life? Are we going to set healthy boundaries? Are we going to allow people to come in and manipulate or emotionally manipulate and be controlling and try to tell us who we are and how we should live? And it's not just going to be your relationships or your parents, right? Could be anyone. Could be your boss at work. Could be a coach. Could be anything. So, guys, your faith, it has to get to the level of being unshakable, to where you have these personal experiences through choosing choices that are insanely aligned with who you are and your most authentic version. When you get to that point where it's like your default, like your faith is unshakable. There is nobody telling you who you are, who you should be. It's, I know who I am. I know what I came here to do. I can feel if it's in alignment. My discernment's on point. And if you're not in alignment, that's okay. I love you. I respect you. And good luck on your journey. It's that simple. All right, guys. I hope this message really helped. I love you so much. Please like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to donate or follow my other channels, the links are below, and I will see you on the next one.